Left, your left, hey. Left, right, your left. You got it.
Veteran, first responder, or a patriot looking for a place to put your skill set, your thoughts, and/or want to help continue the mission? You have come to the right place. We are the People's Patriot Project, and we want to put the shock and awe when it comes to meeting the needs of our veterans and first responders. We are dealing with a new enemy in today's world where the wounds are not always seen. We want you to be part of this mission in saving lives and making a difference. Welcome to Playtime. We got your 6 at 6. Now here's your host, Shad Turner of Veterans Unite Podcast and the People's Patriot Project. And as always, Patriot Pride.
Hey guys, welcome back to another wonderful episode of We Got You 6 at 6 with Veterans Unite Podcast and the People's Patriot Project. I'm your host, Shad Turner from Veterans Unite, and we've got a great show lined up for you today. After we do our Pledge of Allegiance, Mark has got something queued up, a special video that he's going to play that describes some of the stuff that they've had going on lately. But first, like I said, it's time for the Pledge of Allegiance. So if you can, please stand, remove a hat if you're wearing one, and get ready for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
of America,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all.
Video not playing.
So the picture Mark had up is from an adventure we had this weekend. We were in a fishing tournament on the ice in the metro area in the Twin Cities on Saturday, yesterday. We had a team of about 15 and we went out and there were houses set up for us. There were holes drilled. We had one of Mark's Army buddies who has never been on the ice before. So I can't imagine that you could guess what he wanted to do right away, which is pull out on the ice and spin his car around. So we got that out of the way right away. Then we had Lee. Lee, who has been fishing a lot, but has been forever since he's been on the ice for ice fishing. We had Peterson with us. We had a couple. We had Teddy and Janelle, and what awesome sports. They came out. He knows some stuff about fishing. Pete was their guide. Each of us had separate guides as well. Pete was amazing, makes his own lures. He put these guys on a bunch of little sunnies and crappies. It was this whole community, you guys. There's one, the food and warming house is there all winter long. So as soon as they say you can go on the ice, he went out this greenhouse, which I'm sure Mark really liked, was the greenhouse. He's there year round, and a whole little community of houses surrounding him, and then little pop-up. So if you guys ever see the clam pop-up houses, that's what they take out. They're very mobile. You get out there, you drill your holes, you put your house over it. You put a heater in there. You have either chairs or the chairs that are provided. It goes out on a sleigh. You can have, there's lights and radios and all kinds of stuff in there. They tell me over and over and over again, you won't be cold. It's very warm. Something about an ice floor makes me not believe it, but it's true. It's very true. I think Matt Burr was with us, and I think his actually it was a pop-up tent, and it had a flooring even. And so he stayed very warm. Matt Burr is he's our young guy in our group. He's on our board. He's suffered a very traumatic brain injury. That's his story to tell. But man, I haven't seen him in forever. So it was awesome having him out there. I do have to say we made a ton of new friends. We did this with Fishing for Life, and they cater to veterans. We brought our veterans and first responders. They had a bunch of other groups. I want to say they had 27 groups around the lakes in Minnesota. And Fishing for Life, Tom Goodrich heads that up, and Sarah. So they actually use StreamYard, and we got to do a little blurb, and I think that's what Mark's trying to get to work for us. Well, we really won the whole contest, but I think that's because nobody really won. The fish were not really biting except for these, I think 8 3/4 inch won the panfish, and then somebody caught a big northern. And that was about all. Oh, and someone had a big bass on our lake as well. I just want to tell you, the camaraderie is amazing out there. I just ran around taking pictures, videoing, doing the live feed. And then this is frightful, but it was actually very fun. The ice, you guys, it was a good solid 2 feet plus thick underneath us. So a lot of people, you take this big auger spin thing and you drill through the ice. A lot of people had trouble getting all the way to the bottom of the ice. So it was good, and it was super fun. And we want to say hi to all of our new friends. We want to thank Fishing for Life. Their guides were amazing. I know a lot of fishermen. They don't share where the fish are. They don't say, hey, I'll take you over here and put you on the fish. And they don't say, here's poles, lures, a house. What else do you need? There's food in the green shack. There's dogs running around that are almost like everybody's community dogs. It was so fun. So fun out there on the ice. We're going to do it again next year. We're going to try to get a bigger group. In 18 years, they've never had to reschedule. We rescheduled twice. This was our third attempt to go out. And so I don't foresee that happening in the future either. And we just want to grow and grow with this event. It was super, super fun. So do we have anything else for that, Mark?
No, thanks for covering there. Yeah, thanks for covering. First time I've had a complete computer collapse. It just everything went boom and said, nope, you're trying to do too much, and that's okay. So we'll get that up for another time. We just had some technical difficulties. Hey, thanks to see everyone here. It's awesome to see our amazing our amazing guests. We have both Mr. Daniel Fielding here with us with the Asset Mindset, and we have also our musician, Stephen John. Had a great story, just in the fact that Mr. John, it's not really Mr. John. Do you ever talk about the conversation about why you go by Stephen John and not what your birth given name was? Are we still locked up there?
Oh, wait.
Oh, I got
Here we
you.
go.
I got him.
Okay.
Got it. All right. Yeah, it actually comes up a lot. So, like when I was back home in Louisiana, I've only been here in Nashville for just shy of a year. I moved here last summer, so going on 9 months. I've been here, eight months or so. But back home in Louisiana, I went by all three of my names, which is Stephen John, and then my last name is spelled Simon. So anywhere outside of Louisiana, you would expect that to be called Simon. And but down in South Louisiana, we don't pronounce anything the way that it's spelled, as you probably can imagine. So my last name is actually pronounced Simon. So it's French. It's got a French twang to it. So when I was back home in Louisiana doing music, it was no problem. Everybody could say it. Everybody could pronounce it. But as soon as I, started doing interviews or talking to people or anything outside of Louisiana, it was confusion. And it was when I would go by Simon, people back in Louisiana would give me shit because I was changing my name just to appease other people. And I said, you know what, we're just going to drop the whole Simon and we're just going to go by Stephen John. So that's what I've done recently.
That's especially us hillbillies from Wyoming who can't figure that stuff out. I can't. I'm terrible with names, and I don't know how I ended up in Minnesota to try and pronounce some of the names I run into here in Minnesota. It doesn't really lead to a lot of great conversations, only in the fact that people get offended. That's the one thing you get to own in life is your name.
That's
and
right.
When people can't get it right, then, it just causes problems. So
Yeah.
it's so good to have you here, brother.
Trying to search for me on social media. If I would tell them my last name was, if I said Stephen John Simon, well, then they had no idea how to spell it. And when they go to search for me on social medias, they just couldn't find it. So I said, you know what? It's easier if we just go by Stephen John. Everybody can spell that.
Absolutely. Awesome. Andrew, did we have any pieces that were in the news?
You know what we've got this week is it is Coast Guard Reserve Birthday this week on the, that was actually on last Friday. It's a very quiet end of the month. And so a lot of individual and independent celebrations within forces and within departments, but there wasn't nothing big national right now, but we got stuff coming up in the next month. So we'll be on with that. I think actually I do have one good thing before we get to all the seriousness. Tomorrow is National Margarita Day.
Woo!
Which you guys met Isaac this weekend. Isaac was fishing with us, my number 3 boy. It's his birthday as well. So I guess we are going to Las Margaritas tomorrow for maybe a margarita on National Margarita Day. So
if it's going to be National Margarita, we got to have the conversation. I mean, so there's several questions that have to come into play. On the rocks or frozen? Mr. John, what do you got?
I guess it depends on how quickly I want to get feeling good. If I'm looking to spend more than a half hour conversating with people, I'll go for it mixed or whatever you want to call it. And if I'm looking to do the most collateral damage as quickly as possible, I'll go on the rocks.
Shad, how about you?
I'm a frozen guy.
Frozen guy. Mr. Fielding, how about you?
It depends on the location. If I'm on the beach, I want a frozen one. If, I'm having dinner or I'm out tomorrow, I'm planning on going out and I'm going to have it on the rocks with some salt.
Oh, I think he's muted.
Sexy Scotty Sexton.
Well, I don't really drink alcohol, but I know my wife will like some frozen.
Frozen. So if you can have a virgin version if you wanted, that would be on the rocks or frozen.
I know this COVID has been awesome for drive-through daiquiris and margaritas and stuff down here in Kansas. So
Okay.
She has enjoyed that quite a bit.
Miss Eichmann.
totally on the rocks. On the rocks.
Rocks.
Yep. Or from the shaker.
So I also want to do a quick introduction. We have Scotty Sexton here with the Forgotten 22, and we just had Mr. Brian Gibson come in with Project Die Hard. Mr. Gibson, are you a frozen or an on the rocks margarita guy?
Frozen all the way, man.
Frozen.
Go quick. Go quick.
It might be a thing where I'm just getting old or something, but for some reason the frozen gives me brain freeze faster than the on the rocks, and that might be the volume that I drink at a particular time. So I do choose to go on the rocks, and so we don't have to deal with that issue altogether. So
no, a single malt scotch on the rock is the only thing that goes on the rocks. I'm sorry.
Fair enough. And I would even call that a kiddie cocktail myself, but I don't drink the margaritas regularly, but if it's the only thing around, that's what I'll do. So then the other major important question we have to have is, do you do original or do you do some kind of flavored or a hybrid? And there are some hybrids, where they throw in the Corsive and stuff like that. But what about you, Stephen?
No, original all the way. No, I don't want
original all the way.
Fancy flavors, just original margarita.
Shad.
Yeah, I agree, man. You got to stick with the original.
Mr. Felding.
I love the original, but I like to try new things. So
fair enough.
It depends. Like, when I was at Key West and, there was the perfect margarita at Jimmy Buffett's, I had to try it,
Absolutely.
A different one. So, it depends.
I'll let you off the hook, Scott. Andrea.
Mango flavor.
Mango flavor?
On the rocks, yep. Or the Presidente. I worked at Chili's for like 20 years, so El Presidente is a good. Okay, and quite honestly, when I came home, when I started working there, I never even drank hard liquor ever. And maybe a beer here and there. And so I started bartending like right away. And when you start bartending, you learn all these smooth secrets about alcohol. So I came home and I was like, we need to go get all this stuff and make these perfect margaritas. They're amazing. And I didn't go with my husband to the liquor store. He came home with a Jose Cuervo, of course. And I don't know what that Cointreau stuff is, but it's expensive. So I didn't get that. And then here's your triple sec. I'm like, we're not ever having perfect margaritas at home. I can see this now. Yeah. So you have to have the right stuff to put together, but perfect margarita is the way to go.
That's why bars do so good at it. So they don't have to have the whole stock at home. They can get away with that stuff. Yeah. So Brian, how about you, brother?
Traditional all the way.
Traditional. Yeah. Absolutely. I'm the traditional guy as well, but I'm also like Daniel. When you go to the nicer places or places that want to put a little edge on it and create new things, there's a reason why they do it. And A, it's to make you spend more money, and B, they usually taste good. So awesome.
You want to grow, right? I mean, you got to change things up if you want to grow.
Absolutely.
Same old.
So one of the highlights of yesterday's event was we stopped at a place on the way to the event, and it is called Big Boar Barbecue in Hanover, Minnesota. And they literally have 4 things on their breakfast menu. And our crew picked each of all 4, not each of us, but everyone had their own thing. This place was amazing. But the amazing one was they had one of those hybrid Bloody Marys where they had burnt ends on it and pork belly on it and smoked cheese. And it was pretty nummy. And it was a great time. I loved every party yesterday, man. Amazing time with veterans. The video I had uploaded for you is on the ice yesterday. The Adjutant General did show up to the program, and they actually swore in a bunch of new and future soldiers, which was really fun to watch. Just some community pieces going on there. I got the Holy Ghost bumps going on right now just because it was really fun to watch. And there were 19 lakes across the state of Minnesota that were covering veterans, mostly veterans, and with working with our organization, we're always pulling in the first responders as well. But Andrea brought out the words camaraderie, and that is 100% what it was. It was so cool. We were out there, and it wasn't interviewing; it was just talking. And these guides from all over the country, or all over the state, were coming to help veterans fish. And my question: why would you do this? And it was so fulfilling to hear them say, you know what, we got to give back to those that gave so much to begin with. And it's so refreshing to hear that. It gets, for me, it gets old, and I don't really receive it well when someone says, thank you for your service. I don't receive it well because I'm so selfish about it. It was my thing. It was for me. I enjoyed it. And I don't need to be thanked for something I enjoyed so much. And there's a whole dialogue with that, and I get it. There's people out there, oh, you should be thinking. Yep, I won't argue with that. But it's nice to see some action put in place. It wasn't word service. People were there legitimately serving our veterans, and it was just amazing. They got to come and fish. They got to come and eat, and it was just a great day. So
there was even one guy that came at like we started out. Opening ceremonies were at 12:30, and then we started fishing, boom, at 1, and it was probably about 1:45, 2 o'clock, and this guy came out with this big house and just asked. He said his wife had heard on the radio there was a veteran fishing tournament on the ice at Lake Waconia, and he just came out to see if anyone needed a house to fish from, or could he provide some poles, and it was very cool. So we were pretty well set, but he's like, well, I'll just park over here and set it up, and then if anyone wants to come sit in the house for a while, they can. So it was very, very cool. Very cool day.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
And we got people coming in and saying hi to people. Jerry Lynn, nice to see you. Thanks for coming and visiting. Bree Marsh has been talking a lot to us. Thank you for coming. You guys, please feel free to interact and ask questions, and we'll put your stuff up as quick as we see and screen that. I would like to talk or bring our first guest, Mr. Daniel Felding. He is the author of the book, The Asset Mindset. And what is the asset mindset? What is that, brother?
It's a Special Forces perspective on how to achieve success. It's a philosophy, mindset.
So just a heads up, I can't hear what he's saying.
So, and this happens on occasion, and that's okay. Stephen, just do a restart, and it should connect everything together. We'll pull you right back in, but
okay.
Every once in a while we got to do this, and not a huge deal. We'll just keep moving forward.
Sure.
So to go back to answering the question,
yeah,
I'd say it's the asset mindset is to learn to be your own greatest asset. So you are, in a sense, taking ownership of your life and how to create success, be positive, surround yourself with positive environments, how to adapt, improvise, overcome a lot of the military things. It started before the military, but just going into the Special Forces and becoming a Green Beret, I learned that pretty much everybody there thought a certain way and had a kind of philosophy in which they approached life and how they got to become an elite level soldier. So I was like, wow, that's pretty impressive. So I like to say all the time, like, everybody in Special Forces has to have the asset mindset, but you do not need to be in Special Forces to have the asset mindset. You can take a lot of these same things that are in my book and put them and apply them to your life. So it's not a book that's just full of war stories. I mean, there's some stories about myself and others that I served with, but it's something for the reader to learn and grow. It's kind of a personal development, self-help type of book for reaching your goals and how to accomplish things, and it does address like the adapt, improvise, and overcome, kind of like what Stephen John did. He had to adapt. He's like, all right, I'm going to be successful. I'm not going to keep doing things. He grew, he changed his name now. So now it's, working. That's what we do in life. If you want to be successful, you have to be willing to change. And that's what my book tries to bring to people and give them the tools so that they can do that and they can have that asset mindset philosophy in their own life and in their head so that they can be more positive and overcome.
So you said that started before you went into the military. Was there something that triggered you in your head that said, you know what, I need to do a self-evaluation? There needs to be an assessment. What was triggering the need to create an inventory of yourself at that time?
It starts with my dad. Honestly, he was my first hero and mentor. Guy Fielding, who's no longer with us, but he's, looking down, I'm sure. And he always would say, watch and learn, because I'd ask a million questions. I always wanted to be his little helper, like my kids do with me. Like, oh, I want to be your best little helper. I'm like, well, watch and learn, because you don't have time to explain everything. So that watching and learn kind of like, all right, I'm stepping back and I got to observe and take an objective view at something. So I started applying it to my life. Then I went into martial arts, and I really gravitated to that and the martial art culture. And so the whole, there's a Dragon Warrior Code that I talk about in my book. I could recite it, but I don't know if I want to run too long in time. But that it's, I am what I am because I choose to be. I'm a dragon by choice and I'm subject to its loss. And then it ends kind of like I find peace within. So like all those things help apply, this perspective in my life so that I could then, after 9/11 happened and I wanted to go serve and I wanted to become the Special Forces Green Beret, I was able to do that because I had that mindset. And I'm my own greatest asset. Nobody's going to make me quit. The only one that can make me quit is me. I'm either going to do this or it's going to kill me or I'm going to be broken. And, those are the guys that made it. It didn't really matter how big and strong you were. I mean, it helped. But, there were small guys that made it and have done great things. There's one I talk about in my book. And I mean, this guy excelled so much. He went over and he ended up becoming, one of the members of Delta Force. He's that good, but he was a smaller guy. I watched big, huge guys, muscle heads that, didn't have the right mindset. They did great on their, physical training, would get a perfect score and push-ups and sit-ups. Then when it got down to, guess what? You're tired, you're hungry, everything's not easy, it's cold. They would quit. And it was like, wow. So that's the mindset that I'm trying to share with people and the readers, to take that and apply it to your life. Because everybody can do it. It's just a matter of practicing, So any other questions with that?
No, yeah. It's just more of riding the coattail a little bit and saying that if you're capable of compartmentalizing pieces and saying, so for me, if I said, you know what, I've only got this long to get to the next meal, or I only have this long to get to the next sleep, or I only have it was so much easier to get through the days than if you take it all in one bite. If you whittle it down to smaller pieces. But there's a classic adage when you're talking about the bigger guys, the bigger they are, the harder they fall sometimes. And it's interesting. I've seen that several times in life as well. When I did an NFL combine one time, we had this guy who was an absolute weight junkie in the gym. Lift. He could outlift me day and night. Well, at this particular NFL combine, we walked up and the strength test was actually a grip test. Well, he didn't work his grip ever. He just lifted weights. And so I was able to move on from him in that point just because, and I never really worked my grip either. It just was one of those things. But here's this giant of a man who couldn't get through that minute because he had the wrong tool in his tool belt. And so that circles back to just the inventory piece of the assets, figuring out what tools you have to apply to what piece. I'm assuming that's what you're referring to in your book.
Yes, no, I refer to a lot of that as like the pieces you need, and I even talk about asset mindset teammates. Sometimes you have short-term ones like, all right, say, I'm going to talk about Stephen Johnny. He wants to be a musician. You need to learn the guitar. Guess what? You find someone that can teach you, so that person's there and is a mentor for a time in your life. That was an asset. You learned, you seek them out. And then now, okay, you've developed that and you move on and you go to another. Maybe they're there for life. Maybe they're not. But at any point, any goal or anything you want to accomplish, you can do it if you put yourself in the right environment. You are your own greatest asset, and then you surround yourself with other assets. Like if you want to be let's say you want to be a musician or you want to be an actor, like, well, guess what? You need to go where actors are. You need to go where musicians are. You need to do those things that other people are doing. so that you can achieve that, and they rub off on you too. That's one of the things I've seen. Like when you're surrounding great people, it just motivates you to be great. There's stories again in my book that it's like, there's guys, I've seen people run 2 miles at Special Forces standards with broken feet, 2 broken feet. And they're running to, Green Beret standards on their 2-mile run. And it's like, wow, so there's amazing things that you can do. And everybody has that capability. That's why I wrote this. So everybody else can tap into that. You have it. I have it. We all have it. Now, the struggle's real. It's not something like you're just going to read my book and be like, oh, okay, yeah, I got it. And everything's easy now. It's something you need to continue to work on. And that's part of habits. Like I have a whole chapter about habits and building positive habits so that can create the change, and talking about time as an asset. That's another thing too.
So we have in the comments, we got your website where you can get the book, the assetmindset.com. There's some organizations you work closely and directly to. You want to bring any of those up?
Yes, actually, I'd love to. And I think they parallel so much for what you're doing. I'll start off with Camp Resilience. I'm on the board of directors there. You can find Camp Resilience on Facebook. We're out of Guilford, New Hampshire. We run retreats. It was funny you were talking about the ice fishing, Andrea. And I'm like, wow, we do stuff like that, like go skiing or snowshoeing or whatever in the wintertime. During the summertime, we'll do zip lines or other things or go out on the lake. Sailing we've done, but it's for veterans, their families, their wives, first responders that are dealing with things, whether it be alcoholism, whether it's just adjusting back, whether it's depression, PTSD, moral injury, all these things. So we run retreats at no cost to the veterans too. If anybody's interested or a veteran that might want to, be a part of Camp Resilience, please look us up. It's no cost to you. All you need to do is get here. You get here, we'll provide lodging, we'll provide food, we provide for whatever the activities are. It's a great program. Super happy to be a part of it. I was founded by a fellow Green Beret, 10th Special Forces Group, retired colonel. And so we ran in at my son's Boy Scouts, and he saw me wearing, a certain hat, and he's like, oh, yeah, where were you at? And, we hit it off. We did a little bona fides type deal, and they're like, oh, okay, all right, you're legit. And, so, yeah, we connected there. And then the other organization in New Hampshire here that kind of is growing outside of New Hampshire too, just starting now, is Swim with a Mission. They are related to the Navy SEALs. Not strictly Navy SEALs, but that's one of their main partnerships. They're now doing stuff with our organization, and we're going to be doing a Green Beret Missions Challenge event. The summer is in the planning, in the works, so people can come and fundraise and know what it's like to be a Green Beret and run missions for a day and do mock missions. But Swim with a Mission is helping us do that. So we're partnering with them, and they are a nonprofit, great organization. They run swimming events, paintball events, all to just raise money for veteran organizations and first responders and people to help. So they don't actually do anything in particular for the veterans other than raise money, and then they'll give it to Camp Resilience or they'll give it to other organizations that are doing the program. So they are a fundraising philanthropical machine, Swim with a Mission. And they're great. You can also find them at swimwithamission.org. So they're a wonderful organization.
Up on the screen right now, also in the comments on Facebook at this time. Mr. Felden made a comment that if you can get there, they'll take care of you. And if this is something you really think is important that you need for the purpose of lightening your load or helping you see the light at the end of the tunnel, make sure if you don't have the means or the resources to get there, reach out to any of the people that are on the screen right here, whether it's the People's Patriot Project, Forgotten 22, or Project Die Hard. We will find a way to get you there if that's a tool or something that you feel that you need. It's important. And that's also the reason why we're doing what we're doing with this podcast specifically, or this live show specifically, is that we're creating this network opportunity. If there's someone that reaches out to me from the East Coast and I don't have a means to help them from central Minnesota or central United States, I will always be able to to refer back to Mr. Joe here or any of the other organizations that are on here. Just checking the notes here real quick, making sure we're getting everyone. Awesome. We got, sometimes I got to check different social media channels because our messages don't. For an example, we have a Facebook user out there. Maybe someone can tell me. Facebook user, love it. Absolutely part of it. So, but we're just not getting access to your name right now. That's the settings on your side, not a big deal. We'll find you in our other channels as we're screening through it after the show. But if you want to be on here, just let us know and we'll take care of you.
I have one more thing real quick.
Yeah.
One of the things too, I want to, like you're telling people, hey, reach out. That's great. And absolutely do it. I don't want you to think if you do contact Camp Resilience that you're limited to just like one thing. We run retreats for all different types. And if you're an organization, like one of these other organizations that are on tonight or watching, like you can reach out to us and we can kind of cater a retreat to your needs or your organization. So if it's, something to do with, relationship with a spouse, we can run a spousal retreat. If it's you're a caregiver for someone that's wounded and it's difficult, we can run retreats for things like that. Feel free to reach out. We are trying to make things so that we can cover so many different bases because there's so many different needs. So we don't want to just have the same retreat, one after another cookie cutter thing. We like to cater to the individuals that are coming. We even work with Wounded Warrior Project. They've run several retreats through us. So, there's a lot of organizations and things out there that can help, and we're willing to partner and work with as many as we can.
Awesome. I hope you get a chance to hang around a little bit longer and we'll continue the dialogue and work. Andrea, we're going to do something a little bit more, not more special, just something different and new tonight. You want to run that through for us?
I do. I just have to get unmuted. So tonight we are, and I will be completely honest, I have skimmed most of Daniel's book, and I have read through probably the first third. I also read the intro, which says you have to read it more than once to make it fit and stick. Oops. To make it fit and stick and to learn the most that you can learn and then use it. And so I have been in a class that has taught, it's a smaller, different version of mindset, but it's 7th graders, that we teach this to. And it's way too big of a concept for them, but we just pick certain parts. And so my favorite part is, and I had a quote that is very similar to what I read. If you're not moving forward, you're moving backward. And that's kind of how we put it. I worked in a sales group one time and that was there. That's great. But if you stop for 10 minutes, you're going backward half a step. So you don't stop moving. But just the attitude is hopefully you set a positive attitude. And I always try to tell kids, first of all, there's no whining allowed. And second of all, you're in charge of it. The way you react is the way you feel it. You control all of those things. But anyway, I'm getting out of my realm here. And what I wanted to share, and I've tried to put this on all of our sites, but we have a signed copy, a hardcover giveaway with Daniel's book. And I didn't know what conditions. You guys, I love when you donate, but we have so many donation things going on right now. And so please feel free to donate and we'll pick up your name from there as well. But what I really thought would be cool to hear from a lot of you is take a look. You can take a sneak peek just at the first few pages of his book. I want you to share either with Mark or I, so you can even share right to the People's Patriot Project or in the comments if you're comfortable. And if you're not so comfortable sharing, but share with us, like what's a positive attribute that you have, that you use, that you see getting you ahead in life? Where are you successful? What is that one thing, even if it's just a little, do you smile at people when you walk by, which really stinks right now when you're wearing a mask all the time. But that's still a good thing. Don't lose that thing. But what is that positive thing that you have that you like to use to feel like you're getting ahead? Because I feel like we can build on that. I would just say that I like people, genuinely like people. And I do use that to engage in conversation, to learn about others. And I'm a service person. So that kind of goes with it. I'll just share mine out there. I already think I have a copy coming. So if you would like to be in the drawing for a hardcover signed copy of the mindset or the asset mindset from Daniel Fielding, please send us a message. Please let us know what's your positive attribute. Or just say, hey, maybe saying hi is your positive attribute. We'll put you in the drawing, and then we're going to announce it later tonight. We're going to have to get together because of the multiple places you may be sending your answers, and then we'll get a hold of you and we'll announce it live later tonight. So thank you. Thank you for all your support, you guys.
Yeah, it's not a perfect storm. We're in a storm, and it's not a perfect storm. And we have so many channels where this goes. We were going to do it live, and then actually Scotty said, well, what if someone's doing a watch through someone else, and what can we do to get that messaging out there? And that's great. You know what? That's a great problem to have right now. We'll get through that. Yeah, a little bit off, but because I want to get to Mr. Stephen John here. He's been waiting patiently, and I know he's got some amazing stuff for us. And I'm going to share a frustration with you, only because I think that fits into this message here. I've grown so weary and tired of listening to, I'll say, sources spin a negative message in our world that I don't know needs to be there. Now I'll use the word media, and I'm not using the word media as in ABC, NBC, Fox. I'm using the word media as your source of information. That can be mom and dad. That can be your pastor. That could be your Elks Club, your Legion, your veteran, VFW. It could be the guy across the street. If they're filling you with things that you find are negative, find someone else to get your information from. Sit around. There is nothing wrong with spinning a positive narrative, regardless of how ugly it is. It doesn't. We get it. We get it. Most people get it. There are things that are going wrong and things that aren't going right. I love our show. It started off like a turd, but I love our show. It was blown up at the beginning, but this is going to be amazing. We're going to get some things done. Some people are going to hear the message that they need to hear, and we're going to spin the positive message, and that's what we've been doing. I think we've done an amazing job. We've actually been doing this for 1 year. Do you guys realize that? I think we're a week off or a few weeks off from our 1 year mark, but there's some milestones that make this real and make me realize where we're sitting. And I am in love with the relationships we've built. I'm in love with the message we put out there. And there's not one show that I can look back and say, oh, I wish we didn't do that one. Not one. So hang with us. Keep being part of that positive message. Love Andrea's challenge. Get there with us, and let's just make this a positive mission. That's what it is. Stephen John, sorry, thanks for listening to me spill all my gas out there, brother.
Yeah, love it. love it.
So you're down. You're not in Nashville right now? You are in Nashville.
Right
Yeah.
now.
Yep. Remember the story.
Yeah.
How's the world down in Nashville? What's going on down there?
The world is confused and confusing. It's I mean, there's still the mask mandate where you still have to wear a mask. you see it being enforced in some places and not in others, and you know, you hear about somebody getting written, you know, a ticket written for not wearing a mask, and then you go into another place and no one's wearing masks. So, you know, it's kind of all over the place, I guess, kind of like the rest of the country. But, you know, restaurants are kind of open, bars are kind of open. We're just kind of living in limbo right now.
It is heartbreaking to know that our musicians have struggled through this, only in the fact that the primary place where they get to put the craft out has been closed for the most part. And so that is another reason why we wanted to, for sure, that was part of the mission from the beginning, is make sure we get as many musicians on here as possible, try and get your Spotify's up there and get people out there and start purchasing the streams so that you guys can feed your families. And then on the backside of this thing, you know what, we're going to promote you guys and get you into events and get you out there working. We had some good dialogue the other night about some plans and some future opportunities. And so, so our format tonight, you chose to do a live song, and then you also chose to do one of your recorded songs, and we're so excited about both. What do you got for us first off?
So yeah, first off, I guess do you want me to give a little backstory on kind of
absolutely
where I'm at? And
yeah,
okay. So I'm from South Louisiana, born and raised in a little town called Crowley, and then shortly after, you know, when I say shortly, I mean like a month after high school, I was in Marine Corps boot camp. So went into the Marine Corps and ended up doing 5 years active duty. And the kind of way that went about is I originally signed up for the Marine Corps. I was, however you want to look at it, lucky or not lucky enough to be in during peacetime. I went in 1995, and so after about 2 years of being stationed at Camp Pendleton, you know, I kind of realized quickly that if I didn't make a change, that I was going to spend my entire 4 years there at Camp Pendleton, never see anything else, and that's not why I joined the Marine Corps. I joined the Marine Corps to see the world. So, so after about 2 years into the Marine Corps, I submitted my application for the Marine Security Guards, which is like all the embassies and consulates all around the world have Marines that guard all the embassies. So, well, I was lucky enough to get selected for that. Went to school for it up there in Quantico, Virginia. Made it through the school, and yeah, I spent 3 years on MSG duty. I was at the U.S. Embassy in Senegal, West Africa, for a while, and then I spent 1.5 years at the embassy in Singapore. So, so yeah, that kind of got me around the world and got to see you know, a bunch of different cultures and a bunch of different ways of life that are outside of what we're used to, and really opened my eyes to a whole lot that I wish more people can see. So was very fortunate to have that opportunity and that experience, and it's you know, kind of what Daniel was talking about, you know, shaping how you view the world and making you who you are. Definitely have the Marine Corps to thank for that, for kind of making me who I am and molding me into the person that I would end up, you know, becoming in my life. So gave me a lot of good discipline, a lot of good. I think the biggest thing I took from the Marine Corps was self-confidence, because you know, when you come out of the military, Daniel was right. You know, you have a feeling of the only person that's going to stop me from doing anything is me. So that's kind of the mentality I had coming out of the Marine Corps. Is you know, there's not a person out there that can, you know, I'm not going to say that can't do anything better than I can, but I know that you know, if I put my mind to it and I have the ability to do it, that I can do anything that I put my mind to. So did that, spent some time in the Corps, got out of the Corps, and I went into the oil and gas industry, the oil field. So I started working on the drilling rigs, and I did that for 17 years. Worked again all around the world, from Australia to South America to India and you name it. And I've been on 6 of the 7 continents in the world so far, between the Marine Corps and the oil and gas industry. So I did that for 17 years and kind of found music during that time. You know, I knew I always loved to sing. Just never pursued it as a career. So yeah, a couple years ago, I was just putting videos up on Facebook and just kind of doing that sort of thing, and was contacted by an A&R scout, and ended up signing a management deal with a management company, and kind of snowballed to where I'm at right now. So Yeah. Long story short, this song I'm going to do right now. It's the title of the song is called "Should Have Been Me," and it talks about veteran suicide. And one of the things that veterans come back, and I hear it a lot, and you see it in the news. Unfortunately, is they come back with what's called survivor's guilt. Why did I go through the exact same experiences that my buddy went through, but I was able to make it back alive and he wasn't. So they actually have guilt of being alive. So yeah, that's what this song is here. It's called "Should Have Been Me." We had a bond thicker than blood, unlikely brothers, desert sons, roots and tags, stories they tell. Some were scarred, some they fell. And all that's left is a folded flag in a mama's hand. 21 guns, a newborn son without his dad. Bury him down in the land of the free. All I can think is it could have been, it should have been me. Each stolen breath I get to breathe won't let me rest, won't give me peace. And what I'd give to bring you back, bullet show now fade to black. And all that's left is a folded flag in a mama's hand. 21 guns, a newborn son without his dad. Bury him down in the land of the free. And all I can think is it should have been me. Yeah. All that's left is a folded flag in a mama's hand. 21 guns, a newborn son without his dad. Bury him down in the land of the free. And all I can think is it should have been me. Had a bond thicker than blood, unlikely brothers, desert sun. Right.
That's some reels, brother.
So yeah, that's I've done that song a couple times. I do it at pretty much every one of my shows, but a couple of my shows where I've actually had people, just want to reach out to me and want to come up to me after that song and just thank me for putting it in words and having them not relive it, but people that have lost family members to veteran suicide. It definitely touches them. So. It's definitely by far my most meaningful song that, obviously that I have. Super glad to have written it, wrote it with some great co-writers. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it.
That's a fabulous message, man. And that's it's one of the pieces that sometimes we don't feel that we have an answer to, in a sense.
You're right.
It's a selfish desire and want to, but that's what heroes do. That's what our veterans do. They want to be the one to carry the load. They want to be the first one on the line. They want to be the first one there. And when you don't get a chance to be that one, it's also the part that you want to carry the load of the hurt that the others are feeling too. And
yeah, I know Daniel was touching on a lot of these camps and resources that we have for not just veterans, but veterans' families and people that are affected. But I know from experience, it's inbred in us as at least the way I grew up. It was bred in me that you have to carry the weight. You have to and as sad as it is to say it, and people don't like hearing it, but we're bred to not reach out for help, because that shows weakness. And it's even outside of the military. It's not just the military, but just that male bravado is I can handle it on my own, and people don't reach out for help and don't realize how bad it's getting until it's gotten to the point that they just can't control it. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with reaching out for help. I've learned that, and I try to tell my son that. I try to teach my daughter that because there's nothing wrong with reaching out for help. It's not a sign of weakness.
I do have to say that's awesome. I love the song. The fact that you're able to open up and say that, hey, it's okay to seek help. One of the sayings that I love is even the strongest bridge can crumble under too much weight. And
absolutely,
yes, in the military, and even just being a man in this world that we live in, we're the tough ones. We stand up, we carry everything on our backs, and we just keep rolling. But I will say, once all that stuff is built up, once we compartmentalize, and you do something like take your life, that's not ending the hurt. You're passing that hurt on to everyone else.
You're right.
You're making a permanent solution for a temporary problem. Do not take your life because of something that has bothered you in your life or something that is currently going on. Maybe you lost your job. There is plenty of us out here that want to talk to you, want to sit down with you, that can try to help you get through this, because there's a lot better option than that. I can say that because I had my own attempt once when I first got hurt, and my wife saved me. She called the ambulance after I had OD'd, and looking back on it now, that's the most selfish thing I could have done.
Yeah.
So I appreciate
exposure too, Scott. I think you're right on as far as like I've seen people and veterans that are like, they'll be better off without me. They'll be better off without me. And that is like the ego in your mind, or, like that is not the reality. When you leave, they're not better off with it. Now, all those things that you helped with, all the hugs, kisses, the smiles you gave, the children, that you were raising, or, the hugs you gave your mom, or whoever it may be that's close to you, you hit the nail on the head. Like, you're passing that burden on to them. They're going to be questioning why. I have someone that committed suicide not even 24 hours or so after I left his house, and we were planning on going to breakfast the next day. And like the next morning I'm calling and not answering, and a police detective answers and he's like, "Who is this?" And I'm like, "Who's this?" But yeah, so, like you are definitely passing that burden and that weight on to others. And you don't want to do that, because if you're thinking that you're going to make things easier for everybody so they don't have to deal with you or don't have to deal with your drama, that's so far from the truth. Like, talk to people, reach out to the right people, let people know how you're feeling. And that's the best way you can help the ones around you that you love, not by taking yourself out of the picture.
Yeah. And if I could just share a quick story. So a couple of months ago, I guess it was about 2 or 3 months ago, I was here in Nashville, and, we all go through stages of depression was, I guess, maybe a strong word, but just was in a real funk. And, so my kids are back home in Louisiana with their mom. So, I see them as often as I can, but for some reason I was just really down at that time. And, you see all these things on social media about, reach out to a friend, just one phone call, that's all it takes. I was just having a really bad day, and not, I'm not going to say I was at the point of where I was, thinking about suicide, but it was just, I just needed something. I needed, and out of the blue that morning before noon, it was, my phone rang, and it was a friend of mine that I used to work with, that I haven't talked to. And I bet it's been 5 years that I haven't talked to this guy. And my phone rang, and, he said, "Hey man, I'm just calling to check up on you and see how, and I'm going to try and not do this without crying, because it brought me to my knees. I'm not lying to you. I literally cried, whenever this happened. Like at that moment, I don't know what it was that this guy just called to check up on me. He's like, I heard your songs. I heard one of your songs. I just wanted to call and see how you were doing. So just that phone call right there, changed my outlook and brought me back around that, you know what, there's somebody out there that's thinking about me, and sometimes that's all it takes is that phone call.
Well, that's how my life was saved, was by a phone call, because a veteran buddy of mine was in more trouble than I was, and it turned out that was a catalyst that saved my life.
Yeah,
because I was sitting there with the 45 in my mouth when the phone rang, and I went, I got to reach out to my buddy because I know he needs money.
Right.
And that transferred to where I sit today.
That's amazing. That's amazing.
So I don't want anyone to panic or worry. Yes, we're slotted for a 1 hour show, and that's because we do that. By no means, this is a dialogue that is important. This is a dialogue that needs to happen. We've got some things we still want to get done tonight. So we're going to continue. If you got to leave us, we understand. Thank you for tuning in for that 1 hour. We're going to keep going. Mr. Stephen John has a song he wants to promote. We've got another song to play. We've got something kind of special. I'm going to save it for another day, but I've got the exact same conversation we're talking about right now about earth-shattering and life-moving, and sadly, it's closely related to the last thing we're doing tonight. And it's heart-wrenching, but we'll get through it. We promote We Got Your 6 at 6 all the time, and we ask people to do their buddy checks and make sure you're reaching out to that guy you don't. I've got a couple of people in my life that absolutely annoy me, but I go through the processes of making that phone call. And because it's important. I mean, why would I put my selfish need of just the moment of not, and it's not that I don't care, it's I'm annoyed, but why do I have to be so uncomfortable with the fact and worry about someone that's not or may not make it? And so I need to reach out to those people. And that's a great note to have. We also do something on the 22nd of every month. We'd like this to go nationwide. We're pushing for it every day, every month we can. We got something we call Heroes Vigil on the 22nd of every month. The 22nd is the reminder of the 22 that we lose in day. That's a marketing number, in my opinion, because we lose between 17 and 75 a day. Those are the real numbers. It's important to remember and take care of those that are here now so we can continue to remember those that aren't here. And you might be that lasting piece of the legacy of your brother and sister that we need to know and hear the story about them. So, again, like every message has been said tonight, you're having that moment. Reach out. I am selfishly here to be those boots on the ground for anyone that wants that help to lighten their load, whatever that is. I can tell you Brian Gibson is that guy that is here to help you lighten your load. I can tell you just by the relationship that I built with Stephen John and Mr. Felding here, we are here to help. And so It doesn't know. So a lot of people notice that when we help a veteran or first responder, we don't splash their name all over the place. We don't splash pictures all over the place. We're not here to put their stuff out there. We're here to legitimately help you. And if we can take away the stigma of that, that's why we're here. And we'll continue to be here. So amazing song, brother. It needed to be heard tonight. Let's promo the song that you got coming out. Why don't you put that out there?
Yeah, so I just released a song. So are we going to play Life is Good? Because that's a song I put out back in 2019, I believe. But I did just release a song called Southern Attic. Just released on February 19th, this past Friday. Yeah, it's available on Spotify, Apple Music, Google, pretty much anywhere you find your music. So it's called Southern Attic, and it just talks about, down in the South, we like to hold on to treasures. We like to hold on to things that at a later time we can go back and just kind of reminisce about where we were whenever we had that. So and the place that we like to keep a lot of those treasures is up in the attic. I know I can go to my family's house right now, my parents' house, and go up in the attic and find tons of things that'll just bring back memories. So so the new song that I just put out on February 19th is called Southern Attic. So yeah, please check it out and give it a listen. This song right here, I think we're gonna play. It's called Life is Good, and that's just what it's about. It's just about, the sun shining in my face, and got a couple Coronas in my igloo, and nothing's gonna get to me because life is good. So
absolutely. So real quick before we get there, we have a post show here. And so this is what's going to happen. And I just want to let everyone know so there's no confusion. We're going to get to Stephen John's Life is Good. And we'll go immediately into, we have a memorial tonight for a lost brother, a lost son of our services. We'll go directly into that. And that'll be the end of the show tonight. If you are interested in being post-show, we're staying on. Sometimes they last anywhere between 40 minutes to 3 hours, just to have discussion and just to work through anything, talk about stuff. If you are interested, get online right now, share that you want to have the entry code, and we will let you into that entry code. After the show, so when the time of this show, if anyone was to leave this show right now, you wouldn't be able to come back in. It locks you out. You don't get to be part of it. It is what it is. There has been times where we've changed to the next channel and to get other people that wanted to be in, and we can do that. But thank you for the amazing things that we heard tonight. Thank you, Mr. Felding, for what you're doing and putting your stuff into words. Thank you, Mr. Stephen John, for your amazing gift, your amazing talent, and your messages through music. And we will see you guys when the smoke clears, and we'll see you next week. We got your 6 at 6. Thank you for being here, and Patriot Pride. This is Stephen John. Life is good.
thank you for having me.
Got 40 hours of paycheck, the pocket of these jeans. Got these Jensen's cranking George Strait circa 1993. Got the windows down and my arm laid up on the back of this bench seat. I'm headed toward the drive of a sweet little Cajun queen. Life is good. That sun shining down on me. Life is good. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. Got my troubles in the rear view, Corona in the igloo. Nothing's gonna get to me. Life is good. Yeah, life is good. To the shoulder, baby, can I have this dance? Truck doors open, she moves closer, persuaded I a happy man. Her head on my chest, my hand on her hips, honeysuckle floating on the breeze. Hope these cars flying by don't pay us no mind, cause I don't ever wanna leave. Life is good. Got that sun shining down on me. Life is good. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. Got my troubles in the rear view, Corona in the igloo. Nothing's gonna get to me. Life is good. Yeah, life is good. About nothing. Well, I ain't worried about a thing. I ain't worried about nothing. I ain't worried about a thing. Life is good. Got this sun shining down on me. Life is good. There's nowhere I'd rather be. Got my troubles in the rear view, Corona in the igloo. Nothing's gonna get to me. Life is good. Yeah, life is good. Yeah, well, life is good.
On Tuesday, February 2nd, 2021, America lost one of its finest sons. Born to Tony and Yvette Call on June 13, 1996, Cal Anthony Call completed his final mission here on Earth. He was a soldier, a father, a husband, a brother, and a son. Rest easy, my faithful son.
Ready? And